Okay, let's go. What's going on, everybody?
Hey, everybody.
Welcome in. Welcome in. Today is Thursday, July 9th. Good Lord. January 9th.
A little cold for that.
Woo, wow. Thursday, January 9th, 2025.
I'm even wearing a jacket inside my house. My wife is raising little baby polar bears up in here. It's horrible.
She's just getting you used to the cold temperature, so when Saturday comes, you won't have to worry so much.
No, I wear a hoodie in my house in July, actually, because the AC is going nuts in here.
Wow.
Yeah, she's part penguin. Even the way she walks.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Snaggin Night Live. Hope everybody had a fantastic week. Looking forward to a great weekend. I think you're going to enjoy tonight's show. I think I know I am. Us and I talked about it. We're going to talk about the different fish species you can find in the James River. We will we'll go through a bunch of information. All the information that I will be talking about will be either firsthand knowledge or coming from Virginia DWR's website. I want to make sure I have accurate information, so I'm not I'm just minimizing everything. Where in the world everything go? I'm not an experienced angler when it comes to all the different species in the James River, so I will make sure all my information is as accurate as possible. I think all Austin's information will come from the top of his head because he's been fishing this river for 30 years.
Not quite 30 years.
Oh, that's right. You're only 30 years old. I forgot.
That's right. That's right. Well, it's close to 30 years. I'm 31, so
Close enough.
No, I'm not. I don't know everything about every single species of fish, but I've caught a lot of them.
Yeah, the most I've ever caught. I caught one crappie by accident. I had no idea what it was because I'd never seen one before. And then, what's that?
Some big crappie on the James River. Big crappie.
This one was huge. It was over by Dutch Gap, and it was bigger than my hand.
Yep.
I caught it at night on a worm.
Yep. That'll do it.
And then we've caught a bunch of other species in the gill net or the cast nets in the river. So that's my extent. I've caught carp before, but I caught those in tributaries and in different places. But I think I hope you're gonna find tonight's episode interesting, talking about the different species. It's not going to encompass all species, and some of the species that we're gonna throw out there on the DWR's website aren't necessarily populated in the James River, but on some of the major tributaries, such as the Appomattox River or the Chickahominy River.
Well, you got so many rivers in Virginia that run into the Chesapeake Bay. It really, and then even the James River itself, once you get far enough west and you get into the Appalachian Mountains, it's a completely different ecosystem. Completely different. You go from Babe Winkleman fishing to Bill Dance fishing. Like it's like right there's a dividing line right there at the Appalachian Mountains.
Nice. But yeah, so hope you stick around. If anybody's got any questions as we're going along, please feel free to throw them in chat. If you've got any interesting species that you have in your bodies of water, please throw them up there, and we'll talk about those too, or we'll have you make a few comments about it, or if we know anything about it, we'll say something. But until then, let's hit chat real quick and say hi to everybody. That's going to take us a few minutes, and then we'll get into it. So we have Sampy always coming in early. Appreciate part of the Team Snaggin Whiskers fishing family. Really appreciate everything Sampy's done for us. And we always look forward to having him in chat. Gregory Lemon wants everybody to know that Double Hook Angling is not doing a live tomorrow morning due to the weather. He just wants us to let everybody know that. So appreciate you sharing, Gregory.
Good to know.
And thank you for watching. Smoky Mountain Catfishing, good evening.
Hey, buddy.
There's Burrito Catfishing Lady saying, now the real show begins.
Hey, Lisa.
Sampy saying, that's true. Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate that. Crappie Day Darren said, okay, you can go live now. That was at 8:58. Sorry, Darren, didn't see that message. We came in a little late tonight. We had a conversation going on, but we did make it. Let's see. Randy, old gray hair Swain said the advertisement is over. Now the real show starts.
Hey, Randy. What's up, bud?
I love y'all. Y'all are awesome.
Definitely.
Let's see. Smoky Mountain, TSW Dustin. What's going on, Gregory? Dead Sea Pirates Fishing says hello, everyone.
Hey, Dead Sea.
Let's see. John Boy's Catfishing saying hello, everybody.
Hey, John Boys.
Wabash Nate saying evening all.
What's up, buddy?
Dead Sea Pirates wants to know if everybody is all nice and warm.
Getting there.
Well, as we established, Austin's house is an igloo, so
it is. I'm gonna have to sleep in a sleeping bag tonight.
A cold weather one, extreme cold weather sleeping bag.
-20, rated for -20 degrees.
There's Fishing and Cooking with Mike Chavez Taste. What's going on, Mike?
Hey,
Hope
Mike.
you and Sharon are doing well. Let's see. There's Pontoon Jodi Catfishing saying hi, Dustin. Hi, Austin.
Hey, Jody.
How you doing, Jody? Catfish Fever and Outdoors. Dustin, Amish. How you doing, Lynn?
Lynn.
Let's see. There's V. Evening all again.
Hey, V.
Greg Burgess, always nice to see you. Hope your wife's doing well. Says Dustin and Austin, my brothers.
Ditto. Hey, Greg.
Let's see. Randy said you're the one that said you're the man of the house and you control the thermostat.
Did I say that? When did I say that? Mrs. Fever is staring at me right now.
I saw your eyeballs get like 2 times their normal size.
I don't remember saying that. If I did, it was must have been a punchline to a funny joke or something. You know what I mean?
Mrs. Fever said, "I'll show you a joke."
Yeah.
And here's
I've got hot hands stuffed in my socks right now, Randy. I ain't controlling nothing around here.
There's Quiet Man Curtis saying hello, Austin and Dustin. Well, looky there. Charles Breckenridge says, hey, look at that. I'm on time.
Hey, Charles.
There we go. Joshua Parham said, what's up? How you doing, Joshua?
Hey, Joshua.
See, Jody said, I'm cold too. Stuck and churn the heat up.
There you go.
Well, if you're going to be, if you have to be inside, turn the heat up, cozy up, and either, do something you enjoy. Read a book, do a puzzle, watch a show. Let's see. Butterflies and sunshine. Says good evening, Austin, Dustin, and Chatt.
You ever seen someone do a puzzle wearing mittens?
No,
I ought to go live later. Y'all be real entertained. The corner pieces are horrible.
There's Troy, Real and Virtual Outdoors. Our friend Troy says, hello, everyone, again.
Hey, Troy.
Hope everybody took the time during the last show, the warm-up show, to get your coffee and your snacks. Find yourself a nice blanket, start the fire, get cozy, settle in for this show. Excuse me, Brokeback Bob, what's going on? Welcome in.
Hey, Bob.
There's Tom, LG Bat, saying hello.
Hey, Tom.
We're getting there. We're getting there, folks. Wallbat Snake says, poor Austin is trying to say his wife wants more kids using the cold.
She don't want more kids.
She's got 5, she's got 5 as it is.
Yeah. Yep.
The oldest one's sitting in front of us.
That's right.
V said, I'll fish for anything. Sweet. I have my main fish, of course, is catfish, and everything else is bait. Let's see. Gregory Lemon wants to remind everybody one more time that Double Hook Angling is not doing a live tomorrow morning.
Good to know. Good to know.
There's Jeff Beal. Welcome in.
Hey, Jeff.
Let's see here. Charles Breckenridge. I talked to a game warden about a year ago, and he said that they've already shocked up some snakeheads in the James.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been plenty of snakeheads in the James, especially down towards like Williamsburg and that area, the Chickahominy.
And they're very populated up in the Potomac River too.
Yep. Yeah, there are big tournament fish up there.
Really?
Lots of snakehead tournaments. Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. And apparently they're really good eating. I've never eaten one, but I imagine prepared correctly, most anything,
Right.
It's pretty decent.
Let's see. Lynn wants to know, what's the biggest catfish you know of caught on the James? 173.
Yeah, my wife's. Yeah. It was what was the old world record? 120 something.
Was it 123?
Yeah, something like that. It's been some time though. There's been a lot of triple-digit fish caught on the James over the years, but at one time it held the record, and the record is still in Virginia. It's just not on the James.
That's right. It's 143 pounds. It was just caught at Bugs Island.
Yep. In the mouth of Bluestone Creek.
So other notable catfish, blue catfish caught in Virginia. There was a 102-pound blue caught in the James River. It doesn't say when, but that just says other notable.
I could have swore it was like 121 or something like that.
The biggest that I know somebody's laid eyes on, like I know somebody personally, was, of course, Mrs. Fever's big one. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody say they've seen in it 100-pounder, but I know they're down there.
Yeah. Well, Dan from Goober Time Guide Service, he's gotten multiple, or at least a few, over 80 in his boat, I believe. Well, his boats. And then what's his name? That little guy that owns Catch the Fever. I can't remember his name, but he caught a triple-digit fish on the James.
Okay.
And there is a video on YouTube of that fish, but I couldn't. You could probably find it on the Catch the Fever YouTube page or whatever. But
right.
And then John Garland, who's a guide on the James River. He used to work where I currently work, but he's sponsored by Bass Pro Shops. He's one of the OG catfish guides on the James River. He's gotten, I think, 1 or 2 triple-digit fish under his belt in the last 20, 30 years, something like that. And I know there's more. What's his name? Christian. He's another guy. He's got a big red beard, but I think he's gotten at least 1. But anyways, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't talk to those guys, like personally or whatever. Those are just things that I know or whatever.
Absolutely. Thanks for asking the question. Appreciate that. Jason Lamb says, "Good evening, everyone."
Hey, Jason. That's
There's Bill
name.
Reddick.
I don't recognize that name. Jason Lamb.
Oh yeah, he's been around for a while.
Oh, okay, maybe. All right, maybe brain fart, I guess.
Bill Reddick Outdoors. Bill, thanks for coming in.
Hey,
Appreciate
Bill.
it. Nice hat, Austin.
How you doing, buddy?
Let's see. Jeff Beal said, "I think the snakeheads eventually would be good for the ecosystem. Why? Because they lay tons of eggs that other species can munch on."
That is true. That is true. There is a pros and cons to everything.
Absolutely.
Like the snakeheads are, the big thing with them is how badly they disrupted the largemouth bass population, and that's how they got their notoriety, I guess, all their attention. If something affects the largemouth bass population, then people are going to do things about it. That's the way it is.
I believe that's one of the fish that I was looking at tonight. I know that's on the list, and we might talk a little bit about that one too. There's Kevin Hendrickson saying, "Hey everyone, welcome in, Kevin."
Hey Kevin, that's good coffee.
Verlina says, "Chris says hi, but he's all about football for the next 2 days." I got it. I
don't blame him.
Hey Chris, how you doing? Stan 3, what's up? Thanks for coming in.
Hey bud.
Charles Breckenridge said, "I have my windows wide open and the fan on high. My mother has the heat cranked up way too high." Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, Stan 3. We never lost water. My family did. Their water has come back on now, but they have to boil it. But
gotcha. Yeah, we never. Well, I mean, I'm on a well, so I lost power, but other than that, no, I didn't lose water.
That's good. I feel bad for all the folks that did.
Yeah, good old Richmond, holding back information from its citizens. Great stuff. Great stuff.
There's Fish on Ed Evans says, "Good evening, gentlemen."
Hey Ed.
Let's see. Stan 3 saying hello. Greg Burgess. Burrito Catfishing Lady. Sorry, there's some dead. Michael Grumpy Vet, what's going on? Says, "Hey everyone."
Hey, Michael. All right. He's saying he didn't have water for 2 days.
Wow.
That's rough, buddy. At least you could melt the snow. But you got to melt it. If you just eat snow, it doesn't do anything for you.
V said, "We have lamprey. It's a terrifying species and also the reason I won't go in Erie. LMAO, enjoy that. If you haven't seen them, Google it."
Lamprey are very interesting. Close up, that's like nightmare fuel. They look crazy, but
wow.
But they're not going to hurt you, but so bad though.
Stan 3, that is the plan as of right now. That's asking for fish in the winter blues. That is the plan as of right now.
He said all the snow was yellow. It had a funny smell when he melted it.
Ammonia. Ed Jenkins, how you doing? Says, "Howdy, folks."
Hey, Ed.
Appreciate you coming in. Let's see. Rebel River Cats. Doug Talley. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, buddy. Good old Doug.
Oh, good. Sharon. Miss Sharon says hi. She's doing better. That's awesome to hear. So glad to hear she's home and doing better.
Good deal. Happy to hear.
All right. Well, that is the end. That is the bottom of chat for right now. So we can go ahead and get this show rolling. There you go. Lynn said he's going to be putting out some videos when it warms up and some lives. That's awesome.
Sweet.
Can't wait to see those. Excuse me.
Ditto.
So, I mean, we all know that the James River has monster blue cats. Pretty much everywhere holds channel cats, right?
Yep. Pretty much. Channel cat is America's catfish. If there's catfish, there's going to be channel cats. 99% of the time. My first fish of 2025 was a channel cat.
Yep. There's another, and I know a lot of people probably know about it, but there's another species of catfish, and for some reason it didn't load for the picture, but it's the white catfish.
Yep.
The James River does hold some white catfish.
Yep. Lake Anna has a lot of them too.
Okay. It says the DWR's site says the best fishing are tidal rivers. So the rivers like the Potomac, the Rappahannock, the James, the York, and numerous lakes.
And there you go.
Lake Anna being one of those. So it's actually a bullhead. It's one of the bullhead catfish.
Yep. Yep.
They don't get go ahead.
Yeah, they basically they just look like a bullhead, but it depends on where you catch them. Like I know some of the ones that have come out of the James will have a darker tone to them, but then some of the ones that come out of Lake Anna will look more like a blue cat. They've got like a whiter, something different with their pigment. Of course, the ones out of Lake Anna, there's signs all over Lake Anna saying not to eat them because of the nuke plant up there. But so maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know. But yeah, just a bullhead basically. They've got whiskers that come out of like the bottom, like underneath their bottom lip, and that are a little more like thicker, almost like little octopus tentacles, Yeah.
There you go. And these are all the pictures that were on DWR's website.
Yep. And I'm sure Stan too could probably tell us, but as far as like the rays on the anal fin and everything, I'm sure that's different too, but I've never taken the time to count the rays on a bullhead before.
Yeah. And they say they only they average 8 to 18 inches, rarely 20.
Yeah.
So they don't get very big.
Nope, they don't. But they can be very good eating. There's a lot of people that have eaten them, and well, there's a lot of places that are overrun by them, for one thing, so they're not very hard to catch. Like Sandy River Reservoir, which is further west in Virginia than where we typically fish on the James River, has a huge population of the white catfish / bullhead and channel cats. They actually stock them with like 14,000 a year. Like they put 14,000 to fry in that reservoir per year.
Oh, wow.
Or 1,400. I'm sorry. I think 1,400, not 14,000.
A Life of Fishing, welcome in, buddy. Says he caught them on the York a few times.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Ed Evans says he caught a couple of white catfish from the Delaware River.
I'm sure. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they're all over.
Stay in 3 said, "Oh, I'm so proud to hear my dad is the anal fin expert."
Hey, he did that to himself. He got on an anal fin kick there for a little while. Every single fish that got in the boat, he would hold that thing up, and you know how you can tell the difference. Yeah, so
That's funny.
yep.
There's Catfish Dog. Welcome in, Tim.
Hey, Tim.
So those, so like I said, we have the blue cat, the channel cat, the flathead. Those are the 3 main. Well, 2 main targeted, of course, are the blues and the flatheads. The channel cats are abundant pretty much everywhere you go, and then of course, now you got the whitehead catfish, and those are the 4 catfish species. Unless you know of a different catfish species that's on in the James.
No, I don't. I really don't. Bullheads, channel cats, flatheads, and blues. If you catch something that's a different species, you should probably report it.
I was looking at a YouTube video earlier when I was doing some research. I'm not sure where this guy was, but he pulled up an armored catfish. He was in.
Oh yeah.
That thing looked nasty. Had armor plating on it. Had spines going. If you run your finger one way, it would cut you.
Yep. Yeah.
It was like muddy brown and black.
Was it like down in like South America or Africa or something?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Well, the show River Monsters. I mean, we've all watched that. I'm pretty sure that Jeremy Wade at least accidentally caught one of those, and then I've never caught one, but I've heard of people catching them out in the bay, like far out in the bay.
Really?
They're actually not those.
Oh.
There's actually a saltwater catfish, and like Danny Stone was live last year. He was surf fishing, and he caught a few of them down south in Florida. They're pretty common, like in the Gulf of Mexico. But I think people have caught them up and down the East Coast every once in a while too. And it's a 100% saltwater catfish. It's got the same colors roughly as a blue cat, but it's got a lot longer whiskers on it, and I think the spines are a little bit pointier and sharper. But yeah, sail cat. There you go, Sampy.
Okay, nice.
I always just called them a saltwater catfish, but yep, sail cat.
Okay. Charles Breckenridge was saying that white catfish are infested in Swift Creek Reservoir. You can't even crappie fish without them getting his line all slimy.
Yeah, I can imagine. I didn't think. Yeah, yep, that makes sense.
Ed Evans said he also caught an albino channel cat from the Delaware River.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That would be cool to see.
I'd love to catch an albino.
Lisa's saying she saw that same video of the guy catching the armored catfish.
Yeah, there's crazy out there.
Let's see. All right, so that pretty much covers the catfish species, and some of the, one of the main sources of food for the blue cats on the James is going to be shad, right?
Yep.
So prominently gizzard shad. Those gizzard shad eat the plankton and stuff like that. So you're not going to be able to catch those on rod and reel. But there are a couple of other types of shad that do come upriver that you can catch on rod and reel. However, the American shad is, let's see if that actually uploaded. It did not. Well, dang it. The American shad is, go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but an American shad basically just looks like a skipjack or a hickory shad, except its jaw is flipped, where I think its upper jaw is forward of its lower jaw instead of the opposite way around. Right, on a skipjack or on a hickory shad, the lower jaw is forward, and the hickory shad or in the American shad, the upper jaw is forward. Is that the American?
That's the American, yeah.
Okay, so it's the opposite. Well, there you go. But that's how you would tell the difference if you couldn't otherwise.
Yeah, so that's the American shad. I'll tell you, one of the things that worried me the most when I first started doing the hickory or fishing for hickory shad
Mm-hmm.
in the spring a couple years ago was, people saying that it's illegal for anybody to have American shad.
Yep.
And it's I was doing a lot of studying trying to figure out what the difference between the two was to make sure I did not have an American shad on my boat.
Yeah. Yeah, if you catch one, then you just throw it back. It's not like
right.
Because if you target the species that you're allowed to target, then that's the same way that you would target the species you're not allowed to have. So it's not like but you just don't throw it in the cooler.
Right. You got to be careful because if you don't recognize the difference, if you get caught with that, excuse me, you can be charged with a Class 3 misdemeanor.
Yep.
And a second or subsequent violation within 12 months can be upgraded to a Class 1 misdemeanor.
They take it pretty seriously. The conservation efforts for the American shad, they've been working on that for years and years and years. And like the American shad was the main food source for the Native Americans before settlers even came.
Right.
That was the main food. The river was just chock full of them.
Wow.
Like it's easy to think, John Smith and everybody else that came up the river, and formed Jamestown and this and that, and it's easy to think the size of the catfish that they would have seen, but that's not, the blue cats weren't here until the 1970s. So
right.
They had channel cats, and I would have liked to seen what size the channel cats were back then. That probably would have been pretty interesting. But the main food source for anybody on the James River was American shad.
Yeah, Charles is saying the American shad, alewife, and the blueback herring can get you a pretty big fine if you get caught with one here in Virginia. That's right.
Yep.
Blue cats eat all the crabs and stripers, says Mike Chavez.
That looked like rage bait. Of course, they eat the blue crabs and the stripers. They eat everything.
I think I know a bigger predator to the blue crabs too. Humans.
Yeah, humans are a pretty big one. Well, you look like if you've ever, you can actually read some of John Smith's like diary entries when they first came over here, and that stuff's pretty interesting. He talks about how you could look at the from the boat. He looked at the land, and like the hills were just full of turkeys, like just flocks of turkeys. That were hundreds, thousands of turkeys over there, and then they kept beaching the ship, which if you've ever been on the James, you'd know it was really easy to do that. But they kept beaching the ship, and every time they would get out of the ship and look down or whatever, and it was always on mussels or clams. Like just the bottom of the river was nothing but clams, and oysters.
Wow.
And just how much the ecosystem has changed since humans have messed with it.
Yep. Let's see. Fish on Ed Evans said last year here in Pennsylvania, we were allowed to keep 3 American shad per day. 2025 laws changed that. Now we can keep now 2 per day.
Yeah. I remember Ed saying that earlier in the year that was going to change. But that means that you got a better population up there than we do down here, at least,
Right.
what the evidence says anyways.
Jeff Beal says there's shad in the Schuylkill River, but the birds destroy them.
Yeah.
I bet. So moving on to the next fish, everybody's pretty familiar with is the largemouth bass.
There he is. America's favorite sweetheart.
Yeah, I play I was telling y'all I got the VR game, and a buddy of mine that we fish with, he you can fill a saltwater, you can fill your freshwater aquarium in the game with up to 50 fish, and he wants to put all 50 of those largemouth bass.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but those are pretty prevalent around a lot of lakes and rivers. Chickahominy River below Walker's Dam and the James below the fall line. You're gonna find your best bets to find largemouth bass, and of course a lot, or if not all of the lakes around Virginia.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's a lot harder to find a body of water that doesn't have largemouth bass than there is to, finding one that does. I can tell you that they're pretty much everywhere. Pretty much just about everywhere that there's a bluegill, there's going to be at least a couple bass, even if they're real small.
See, Christopher Klein, friend of mine, grew up as kids together. Said, "Now we talking." If you see his picture, he's got looks like a largemouth bass in his avatar picture there.
He's holding a hog. I see it.
Yeah, he does a lot of bass fishing, I believe.
Fun stuff. Yeah, we joke around in the community about how they're we use them for bait or whatever. But I tell you what, I fished for bass for many years. At the same time as I was fishing for catfish, but it was before I was really targeting trophy catfish, but bass fishing was a lot of fun for me, and it still is. And so I've got plenty of respect for them. I'll tell you that. At the same time, there is no shortage of bodies of water in the state of Virginia, especially private ponds. If you can get permission to fish some private ponds, farm ponds, and different things, usually when you do that, the pond is either going to be, a relatively like an average bite, and it's going to have some really good bass in it, or it's just going to be absolutely like cast after cast after cast, and every bass is about 1 pound or less. And when that happens, their growth is stunned, and somebody needs to manage that pond. And, you can talk to the landowner and get permission to do this, but that's a perfect opportunity to take some of those bass and fill up a cooler. And bass taste excellent. You can fry them up, and they taste really well. And if you don't mind using bass for bait, then there's your opportunity right there, and you're doing a good thing for that body of water, and you're getting something out of it, So
now I will say here in Virginia, as far as bait goes, we can use game fish as like bass, but they have to remain whole. You can't use them as cut bait. So,
well, as long as there's a length limit on them,
right?
And the DWR has a separate table for all the game fish, and even certain game fish, there isn't a statewide length limit. So it's not about where you caught the bait; it's about where you plan on using the bait.
Right.
Is what I think might get people confused sometimes. But like on the James River, you can keep up to 5 bass, and there's a couple length limits in there, but you can keep up to 5 bass in aggregate, which is just a fancy word for total. So
thank you, Professor Austin.
yeah. Well, and then like crappie, there's a lot of bodies of water in the state of Virginia that, and I know we haven't gotten crappie yet, but there's a lot of bodies of water in the state of Virginia that have a length limit on crappie, a lot of bodies of water, but the James River is not one of them. It's not listed in the table as a separate, entity with a length limit. So as far as I know, you can cut up crappie on the James River and use it for bait because there's no length limit listed. Gotcha. It falls under the no statewide length limit. But yeah. To fit to that comment you made earlier about you got to worry about the bait where you're going to use it, not where it comes from. Ed said that means we can't bring shad to the James River for bait. That is correct. That is correct. Yep. Don't park at Dutch Gap. Don't launch at Dutch Gap, Ed. And if you do, definitely don't bring American shad because you thought it was expensive, before.
That's right. Mike Chavez saying if it has scales, it's bait.
There you
go. Christopher Klein said that bass right there is 8 pounds, 14 ounces.
There you go. That's a hog. That's a good one.
Monster. Greg Burgess said, I guess that's why blue cats get so big down here in South Louisiana. I can go get an ice chest of crabs with a piece of string and a chicken leg, no problem, and catch catfish at the same time.
They eat it. That they will just about eat anything, and that's always something like my wife's grandfather. He every time I see him, he asks me how the fishing is and everything. We talk about the fishing for a little bit, and I say, yeah, it's so and so. I've done whatever, blah blah, and he says, yeah, they'll eat just about anything, won't they? He says that every time, and it's true. They will eat just about everything, but I feel like I sound a lot like Stan too when I say this, but the difference between, like that's what makes catfishing so fun and so relatable to everybody is you can give a kid a small hook and a little Barbie rod and put a night crawler on it, cast it out there, and he or she can catch catfish all day long. They're probably small ones, but it'll be a lot of fun to catch. And then same species, but different techniques, larger baits, larger gear, and you're going for the trophy cat, so it's same species of fish but different levels of ability and ambition.
You're right. I thought you were Stan too there for a minute.
Yep, I know. I had to make up for it. He's not here tonight. He's not here.
I know.
I had to do something.
Gregory wants to let everybody know there's a winter storm warning for tomorrow. So the live that Double Hook Angling was having is not going to happen. Just wanted to keep reminding everybody. Hey, Bobby says, hey, everyone was listening and working on heaters. You got to stay warm, Bobby. Thanks for coming in. Excuse me. Charles Breckenridge said, largemouth is my third favorite fish to eat. What's going on, Buck Williams? Appreciate you coming in.
Hey, Buck.
Christopher wants to know. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Tim said you have to watch the site-specific rules also. And I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about. But if you're talking about like when I said that it's not where you caught the bait, it's where you're going to fit. You need to look at the rules in both places. Don't get me wrong. But like chances are if you're going to get caught, it's going to be when it's cut up and it's on the hook, not, so like, look at the rules in both places. Yes. But if you're only going to look at the rule in one of those places, I would pick the place where you're going to cut it up and put it on a
hook. So Ed's saying you can fillet the game fish for bait as long as the carcass is whole.
Yep. Yeah, it measures the same whether it's fat or skinny. So,
yeah, Christopher Klein said, can you harvest and freeze it, then cut it into bait? you're still dealing with the same rules. I think if you have a length limit, you can't cut it up, no matter if it's frozen or fresh.
Yep. If I mean, yeah, you could definitely use fillet pieces, and then you could use, the carcass. Like if you had like a little 6-inch long bass or whatever, you could take a fillet off of it, put that on a hook, and then put the rest of the fish on a hook, and and then if whatever happens, I guess. But well, I mean, I say that, and then I got to thinking. I was like, well, what if a fish bites it in half, and then you can't prove the length? So maybe you shouldn't put the carcass on the hook. But I've never done that, so I don't know.
Right.
I've always avoided it. If it had a length limit, I generally am not going to put it on a hook. I might keep it to eat, but then there's no issue with proving its length. So I've never really had to deal with that.
We got Kirk Allen Outdoor Adventures, a new subscriber. Well, thank you so much, Kirk. Appreciate you coming in. Hope you're enjoying the show. Hope you enjoy the content we put out. And we appreciate you coming in. Appreciate you subscribing to our channel. Thank you so much. Kirk, if you ever have any questions, feel free to hit us up. teamsnagginwhiskers@gmail.com. So we will respond to your emails and do the best we can to answer your questions. Or maybe if you have a comment or suggestion you'd like to see on the show, please let us know. We'll do our best to put that out there as well.
Hey, there you go. Tim saying site specific. In his state, some lakes have their own rules that go over the state rules. So yeah, that's what I was talking about. Where like the crappie, like if you look at the crappie on the table, it'll have site specific places that have length limits and creel limits. And but at the top it says there's no statewide length limit or creel limit. So if where you're fishing isn't listed separately on this table, then it follows the statewide rule.
Right.
And yeah, that's what I was saying. The James River isn't listed on that, so it follows the state rule.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks for clarifying, Tim.
We got Trophy Seeker Outdoors in the house. How you doing, Darrell? John Boys said, good night, everybody. God bless and tight lines. All right, John Boys, get some rest. Hope you stay warm.
Good night, John Boys.
Jeff Beal said, I'd rather be working and fishing than sitting on the couch doing nothing. I hear you.
Yeah.
Dead Sea Pirate, yes, the James River does have gizzard shad. That's the main food source for all the catfish, and that's one of the most abundant shad. Well, maybe pretty much the only shad we can keep year round.
Yeah. We've got threadfin shad, and there's no limit on those either. But they only get so big. So
I've never caught anything on threadfin shad.
I haven't either, but I haven't used it all that much, in comparison to the gizzard shad either. So anytime I've used threadfin, it's because I couldn't get something else, whatever.
And every time that happens, I never have any luck. I never catch anything.
Actually, my Mrs. Fever is correcting me.
Uh-oh.
And I didn't know she was paying attention this much at the time. But when she won in the couples tournament, when we won the couples tournament, a couple of her bigger fish came on threadfin shad. I did forget that, but that's the only time. That's the only time I've had much luck or any luck on it.
I would like to know, not that we ever would, but what, because we typically 98% of the time are going to use gizzard shad, right?
Yep.
For bait, we'll say 95% of the time. But I'm wondering.
I was thinking 94, but that's cool. Sorry. Go on.
Proceeding. But I would be curious as to what the difference is in. Would it be was it like weather? Is it water temperature? Is it, is it because it's real sunny? What would make the threadfin shad more attractive than the gizzard shad?
If I had to guess, it would probably be a more active time of year where the fish don't care quite as much what's put in front of their face. Like Mike Chavez is saying, put 2 or 3 threadfin on a hook. You see people out west doing that, like Spencer from River Certified. I've seen him do that so many times. They call it like the 3-headed dragon is the nickname for it, And I have done that, and I just keep bringing back memories. I did that. I have a video when I first bought this other John boat. I put out a video that said breaking in the new boat, and I caught 1 fish. It was the first fish that I put on that boat, and that was on threadfin. And that was on a 3-headed dragon on that video. But yes, but to your original, I would think the warmer months, like in the summer or whatever, especially if you're not going for only trophy size fish. If you're just going out there to catch fish, like if you're just going out there to catch fish in general, then threadfin, if that's all you have, then you'll probably do pretty decent, because there's certain times of year where, like Dustin and I have gone out there and we've just suspended chicken, and absolutely slayed numbers of fish, slayed them. And I'm pretty sure you could do a really good job with doing that with small threadfins as well. But the water's a little bit warmer than right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Dead Sea Pirate saying he thought so. He had a guy try to argue with him the other day, just making sure. Oh yeah, gizzard shad are in abundance year round.
There is no argument there. Don't worry. Don't worry. I got one in the cast net the other day that was pushing 2.5 pounds.
Yeah,
just about from the tip of my finger to my elbow, just about that length. Things are huge.
And if you want to see that gizzard shad, you can go watch Fishing Fever's video he put out. He talks about it and he shows it to you.
I do show it to you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then when you're done watching that video, when you're done watching that video, you can go watch Dustin put out a video at Team Snaggin Whiskers, and he did a really good job. You did a really good job with that, Dustin. Me and Mrs. Fever were very proud of you with that video. We sat and watched it. Yep. And you did a very good job. And y'all should definitely check out that video. Right. That was your first time editing like a long form video, right? Yep.
And other than a fishing video, other than the like the rod holders and DIY stuff that I've done in the past. But this was the first time I've tried to do all that. So it was fun. I see the addiction.
I have a lot of fun editing. I really do. If I'm editing a decent video, like if you're trying to edit a video where you didn't catch nothing, then it's not that fun because there's nothing to be excited about, But yeah, you did a great job.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And thank you for everybody that's already watched the video. But yeah, you can go check it out. It's the last video we put out on Team Snaggin Whiskers. If you go watch the video on Fishing Fever's channel, we were both fishing the same area, the same time on the same day.
Yep.
Just different parts of the river.
That's right.
Catfish Dog saying that's because 7/12 can catch a fish on an empty hook.
That's right. That's right.
Eric B, welcome in. How you doing, man?
Hey, Eric.
Glad you can make it in. Retired Rick says, hey, Tim, you want to just go out and come home the same day? Oh, what's up, Retired Rick? How you doing?
Hey, Rick.
Mike Chavez says, yes, gizzards rule the James.
100%.
Charles Breckeridge said, I've seen that citation gizzard shad, Austin.
Yeah, it was a hoss. Stan 3 and I got one last year up in the city that weighed right at 3 pounds. We actually weighed it. I actually put it on the scale, and it was right at 3 pounds. The thing was insane. I released it back, and it was like releasing a small striper. Like that's exactly how it felt. It was weird. Crazy.
I feel like I was getting ready to be a ventriloquist because I was getting ready to open my mouth and say the same exact thing you just said.
Oh, really? You should have just went with it.
Oh, man. So we're probably gonna have to pick up on this show next week to finish the fish species in the James, because I've still got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 more fish to talk about.
Okay. Wow, that went by quick.
Sure did. But we will end tonight's show on this fish right here, just because it's a part of the same. Well, if I go to the right one, it's a part of the same family, the smallmouth bass.
Smallmouth bass, the bronze backs, the footballs.
They're also called the black bass.
Yep. They are a fun fish to catch. Pound for pound, they fight harder than a largemouth. And they usually prefer stronger current and slightly cooler water as well, which is why you can find absolutely mammoth smallmouth bass up north in the Great Lakes and different northern lakes and rivers. But around here, some of the best fishing for smallmouth bass would be on the upper James River. Especially you can Google the Columbia region. That's a really good place to start. Some good smallmouth fishing there.
And that's what I was going to say. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you didn't.
One of the things I was going to say, the difference that you'll find, according to DWR, when it lists the best fishing for largemouth bass is below the fall line. For smallmouth bass is above the fall line.
Yep.
So that's what we like to call the upper James.
Correct.
Not the upper lower, but the upper.
Not the usually the middle, the lower upper is right. What I look. Yeah. Yep. Or the middle upper.
Yep.
The middle upper is actually exactly where I told you to go, like the Columbia region. Yeah, that would be the middle upper.
Mike Chavez said Scottsville, Howardsville.
There you go. Also, it's not the James River, but there's west of here is the New River, which is near Roanoke, Virginia. Actually goes pretty much through Roanoke, but that area is very well known for some excellent smallmouth fishing.
So yeah, the DWR site said the best fishing for lakes is Clater Lake and North Fork Pond. Okay. And then as far as the rivers go, you're looking at Appomattox, the New River, the Pamunkey, and South and North Anna. And the reason I listed it in this this here too is because it's one of the best fishing areas is the Appomattox, and of course, you got the upper James.
Yep. Yeah, so, it's if you want to have a fun time, float. You can go on a float down the James River, in between a couple of different boat ramps or the length of a state park or what have you, and get you a medium action bass rod and just float down the river and put a little Texas rigged crawdad on there, put a little Ned rig on there or something, or like a top water whopper plopper. Then just gently float down the river and cast that thing up against the bank, work it behind some rocks, and you're gonna catch some smallmouth.
Stan 3 said he caught a tank smallmouth on top water in the rapids striper fishing.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. That doesn't surprise me one bit. That's exactly where they would be.
922 said, excuse me, Tuscarawas River has some monster smallies.
Interesting.
Well, there's Miss Lisa Burrito Catfishing Lady saying the best show on Thursday nights. Forget that other show with the other guys that complain a lot. Thank you, Lisa. We appreciate that. Ed Evans said on the Delaware River, the largemouth bass primarily like the tidal section of the river, where the smallmouth bass primarily like the same. That's what we're just talking about here. Yep. Largemouth you'll find below the fall line, which is the tidal section, and above the fall line you'll find the smallmouth bass, which is not tidal.
That's right. And that's that. A lot of that has to do with smallmouth thrive in constant current. They love current. They don't want no breaks from it. And that's why they fight harder. That's why they fight harder pound for pound. You know, they don't get any breaks. It's like if you, a lot of times it feels like if you catch the catfish on the upper James River, will fight a little bit harder than the ones downriver, pound for pound. And I really think it's the same thing. Like they don't get they hide behind a rock, sure, but other than that, they don't get a break from that current. There's no slack tide.
So what you're saying is they just keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
Correct. A bunch of dories up there. A bunch of dories.
Well, so we will continue this next week. We have a few more fish that we like to talk about. But hope everybody enjoyed the show. Thank you all so much for your interaction. And thanks for watching. The new subscribers, new people coming in. Also, thank you so much. Again, that we got a couple shows tomorrow night, and we have the tournament Saturday. Hoping that the weather doesn't affect too much of that, but we'll do our best to get out there. And thank you all again for coming in. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and we will see everybody next week.
Yes, sir. Yep. Glad to be here.
All righty.